I never knew that everything was falling through, that everyone I knew was waiting on a cue to turn and run when all I needed was the truth. But that's how it's got to be. It's coming down to nothing.
Joe, Dave, Ben, the Fray. Finally, we get a chance to embrace. I've been watching you as a fan for so many years, and stoked to have you in here, guys.
Thanks, man. It's good to be here.
I try to go falsetto every time I sing along to your song. Guitar. Last night these guys were over at Kimmel.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
So were you?
Well,
kind of.
I did a pre-tape, but
yeah.
They stayed up late. But you guys said that you were supposed to go outside on that stage. It was pouring, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're kind of bummed out because we were really looking forward to doing that outdoor thing. And it was good. It was actually really good. It was like 300 or 400 people packed in that little club, so it was good.
It's fun to go over there. That guy, by the way, Kimmel's very funny. He did this bit we did last night with a bunch of kids, and we went to a tanning bed. It was a long story. It's up online. Yeah, waxing. Well, Jimmy and I didn't wax. It's a longer story. But Isaac was telling me that he used to work in a Starbucks, so he's familiar with the early hours.
Yeah, man. I lived like 40 minutes away from my Starbucks too, so I was always like the only one on the road, swerving left and right and trying to stay away. It's a miracle that I didn't.
And when you were there, were you just trying to figure out how to get out of there? Meaning because you obviously wanted to do this for a living.
Well, actually, it was a cool place to like learn. I don't know. I had a lot of interaction with the public. Like every 2 minutes, it was a new member of the public, and I had to figure out how to talk to a bunch of different kinds of people on the other side of caffeine, which is always ugly. And yeah, it's good. I think I got a lot of lyrics actually from that because you hear people talking and they're all miserable. And as soon as you give them their coffee,
there's just a lot of grunting going on at the early hours. You guys probably don't see the early hours as much. I mean, this is pretty early for you.
Here we are.
Yeah. This is nothing. All right, it's 8:52. We're going to come back and chat with these guys, talk about what they've been able to accomplish in music, which is really cool. Also, we've got some new music, too, from the Fray. Hang on. This morning at 102.6 FM. Looking back a few years, and these guys from Denver, Colorado, a lot of people got to experience your music for the first time on television in these promos. And it sort of evolved the way that music is introduced to audiences over the last few years, hasn't it? How'd that happen?
Yeah, it's been really cool. I mean, at first it was the internet thing with MySpace, and then it turned into this. For some reason, all the medical shows started picking up.
Yeah, Grey's Anatomy.
And then we'd have nurses come up to us at shows and be like, "Oh my God, I love this." No, but yeah, it's a good way to get your music out there nowadays. I think 10 years ago, bands weren't really doing that. They weren't putting their, TV wasn't really a format, and now it's become like this credible source where bands are being featured on great shows and good artists are, featured on shows. So it's just a good way to.
Well, it almost seems like prior to the last few years, there was opposition to doing stuff like that. Now you look at the internet and television; it's almost like all the tentacles that you can find are good.
Yeah, especially nowadays. I mean, with the music business changing the way it has, I mean, it's like you have to take it when it comes.
3 years since you released an album, is that right?
Yeah.
So what happened in the 3 years? Obviously, you released it, you do some touring, but that seems like a long time to wait to release another one.
Yeah, we toured a lot.
You look like you've toured a lot.
Yeah.
Me in particular.
What is that supposed to be, Brian?
Dave looks like he's been on tour for 3 years. He's still got a beanie on.
Exactly, yeah, I haven't taken it off for a year and a half. But yeah, but the last year we finally took time off to make the album. And it took like 11 months, I think, by the time all said and done.
How does that work for you? Who is doing what when you're making an album? Because there's 4 of you in this room.
Well, usually we wrote for about the first couple of months, just trying to accumulate a bunch of stuff, and then we'd go to the guys.
Isaac and Joe talking.
Yeah, and then we go to Ben and Dave, and then hash it out in the studio, and they would kind of make it from soft rock to medium rock.
I want to play "You Found Me." Tell me about that song.
It's kind of just a look at like what it feels like when bad stuff happens to good people, and what I'd say to
bad stuff happens to good people. That doesn't seem fair.
It doesn't seem fair. And I think if I was like walking outside of the studio today and God was standing there smoking, I was like, what's up? Like this is what I talked about.
That's not God out there smoking. That's Roger from security, actually. He's got a mustache. It's the Fray. It's 102.7 KIIS FM. The Fray, You Found Me, and that is on the album, which is in stores on February 3rd. So I just listening to that. That's like a song that you yesterday would have been even more perfect. With the rain coming down, you kind of want to just, I don't know, I want to put myself in a big blanket and have people feel bad for me. And
Yeah, just kind of hole up.
Does that make? I don't know if that makes any
It's all
sense.
about the self-abuse, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like the music there is self-abuse and loathing, and I mean, you can hear it in your voice.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably from growing up in the church a little bit. I think
Tell me more about that. I think you know all about it. You found me. No, but I mean, where does tell me where that comes from? Because you look like a happy guy.
Well, I'm a fairly happy guy sometimes. It's funny because the entertainment business is so much about the smile and keeping it on, and you know all about that. And some days you don't feel like smiling, you know. And the entertainment business is pretty much exactly like high school with more money and the popular people and all the things that don't matter. And like coming from the Midwest, Denver, and all that stuff is like we're just a little disillusioned with it. You know, trying to make our 15 minutes count.
I figured out more than 50 minutes. Do you have a girl in your life?
I do. I actually convinced her to marry me.
So you're married?
I'm married. Joe's married with kids. Dave's married.
Oh my God, it's so funny because on the outside I don't see that, you know, which is great. And when you are with your wife, do you? It's gonna sound but I think it's almost like when something tough happens in the relationship, it's kind of good for the band. You understand what I mean?
Sure.
Like when everything's happy-go-lucky in the relationship, then what do you draw from for that kind of music?
Yeah, that's why I pick fights with her every once in a while. You know what? The record's not good. No, it's funny because we've always written songs from our own lives. You know, ever since we were working at our old jobs, like I'd hear somebody say something, or I'd take something and write it down on a Starbucks pastry bag and work on it later. And it's just the source material that we draw the most inspiration from.
What about the wives when they get together without you guys? What do they talk about? How do they talk about
They
you?
drink most of the time.
Yeah, I'm sure they could write their own songs.
It's 9:06 in the morning. All right, Fray and I are going on tour.
Good.
We just talked
When do you
about it.
leave?
When do we leave for the next tour, guys? Isaac, Joe, Dave, Ben with us.
You gotta jump in the audition line. I've heard your folk rock stuff. I don't know if it's gonna work.
I do really good. I do a good job at Christmas caroling.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys can you imagine. Sleigh bells ring. Hey, the Fray's coming up next. Are you listening? Hell? You wouldn't want a guy. By the way, you're the anti-smiling guy. You don't want me around. You guys are all like, hey guys, what's going on?
Dude, that's
We're the Fray. We're in Denver. You're out. And I'm like, hey, I'm over here in the sunshine of Hollywood. And I wake up happy. I shower happy. The only time I get sad is when I'm running on the treadmill to the Fray music. No, seriously, guys, I've been a fan for a long time. Congratulations on everything. It's great to see all of you. We appreciate it. Happy holidays with your families, too, yep?
Yeah.